Your brain is lying to you, and it's ruining your life. You think overthinking helps you make better decisions, but in reality, it's actually keeping you stuck. And what if I told you that breaking free isn't as hard as it seems? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why overthinking happens, but more importantly, how to stop before it ruins your life. Welcome back to another episode of Wellness from Scratch. My name is Marissa Jackson, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Have you ever laid in bed replaying a conversation from years ago, convinced that you said something embarrassing? I know I have. Or have you ever spent hours obsessing over a decision and coming out of it more confused than when you started? Overthinking feels like we're being productive and doing something good, but it's actually just keeping us trapped in a cycle. It hijacks your confidence, your happiness, and even your relationships. But why does this happen to us? And more importantly, how do we stop it? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what happens in your mind when you start to overthink, why your mind tricks you into believing this is happening, and a step-by-step process on how to quiet down the noise. Let's get into it. Overthinking is something that many of us deal with, oftentimes without even realizing how much it affects our daily lives and relationships. It is basically a loop of thought that keeps us stuck. Replaying conversations, worrying about decisions, analyzing every little detail to the point where we feel exhausted. Overthinking can show up in many different ways in our lives. Replaying those conversations, wondering if you said the right thing in that conversation, or it can look like being stuck in a cycle of what ifs when you're trying to make a decision, trying to replay every option that could possibly happen. Thinking, what if you make the wrong choice? Or what if things don't work out? This constant mental chatter steals our peace, and it can also impact our relationships by doing that. In our friendships and relationships, overthinking can create unnecessary tension that didn't need to be there, and it can make you question things that were once normal. It can make you believe that someone is upset with you when nothing is really wrong. It can make you second guess yourself, which stops you from expressing how you really feel. Overanalyzing situations can create imaginary problems that were never there to begin with. In my own journey, I have found that overthinking generally comes from a sense of needing control over a situation that I might not have any control over. We want to make the best decisions and avoid making mistakes, That's human nature. But in reality, when we overthink, it does not protect us from pain. It actually creates more. To put this into perspective, let's talk about a few common scenarios. Okay, so you text a friend, just like any other normal day, and they don't respond for many hours, maybe even the entire day. Instead of just assuming they're busy or maybe out of range of their cell phone service, you immediately go to thinking, have I said something wrong? I must have done something for them to be upset with me. You start to analyze the last conversation you had with them, thinking and trying to find any reason why they couldn't be responding to your message. Next, let's talk about decision paralysis. Whether it's choosing a career path, starting a project, or deciding what to have for dinner, decision paralysis can come in many shapes and forms. And that type of overthinking can leave us feeling stuck because we don't know what to decide or what to choose. That can leave us spiraling into the endless decisions and possibilities. And the third scenario I have for you, which is the one that happens to me the most, would be replaying old events out of embarrassment. Let's say that you have had an argument with a loved one and you can't stop thinking about it even after you have resolved the issue with your person. You keep revising the conversation, picking apart everything you said, wondering how you could have managed that situation differently. even though the other person has already moved on from that conversation. Overthinking is not just a mental habit either. It has emotional and physical effects too. Emotionally, overthinking can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and self-doubt. It makes us feel stuck, like we're drowning in our own thoughts. Physically, overthinking can trigger things like tension headaches, difficulty sleeping, digestion issues, fatigue. The list goes on and on. When our mind is constantly racing, our bodies are in a heightened state of stress 24/7, and that affects our entire overall well-being. So how can we stop overthinking? Here are some strategies that have helped me recognize the pattern. The first step is self-awareness. Being able to be aware when you start to overthink, and you can catch yourself and say, is this productive? Is this going to go anywhere? Or am I just on the train to nowhere? Set a time limit. If you need time to think something through, which is totally understandable, set a timer and make sure that when that timer goes off, you put whatever it is you're thinking about down. You can always come back and set the timer again, but respect the boundaries you've set for yourself. Shift your focus to things that you can actually do and that are within your control. Overthinking thrives on inaction. So instead of staying stuck within your feelings, take one small action towards whatever it is you're trying to do. Even the most minute, smallest thing can make a difference in overthinking. Try challenging your negative thoughts. Ask yourself questions like, is this fear rational? What evidence do I have that either supports or contradicts this thought? Often we realize that our worries are based in assumptions, not facts. Practice mindfulness. When you start to catch yourself overthinking, bring your focus back to the current moment, right where you're in, right where you're sitting. Think about how your body feels and just try to take part in some form of grounding practice. That could be taking a moment to have some deep breaths, or making yourself a cup of coffee, journaling, doing some prompts, whatever feels best for you. The most important part of that is just being able to quiet your mind a little. Talk it out. Sometimes saying our thoughts out loud to a trusted friend, partner, or therapist can help us realize how exaggerated something might sound. Overthinking does not just steal our joy, it steals our ability to live happily and presently within the moment. By learning to quiet this within our minds, we can create space for more peace, clarity, and intentional living. Overthinking does not just happen. It has deep roots within the way that we process our emotions, our past experiences, and even our subconscious fears. If we want to break free from overthinking, we first need to understand why we do it and what is fueling this in the first place. Overthinking is often connected to our brain's attempt to protect us. Our minds are wired for problem solving and survival. So whenever we perceive a potential risk, whether that be real or imaginary, our brains go into overdrive trying to figure out a solution. Many of us overthink because we are afraid to make mistakes. We want to make the perfect decision to avoid regret, failure, or disappointment. Overthinking can come from a deep desire to control a situation. If we think about this bad thing enough, maybe we can prevent it from happening. But in all reality, that control is an illusion. Our brains naturally focus on the negative things over the positives because that's how we protect ourselves. This means that we tend to ruminate on the worst case scenario instead of focusing on the best possibilities. This is something I've talked about in my conversation with Loretta Bruning, and if you want to check out that conversation, I'll link it right here. If you find yourself stuck in a cycle of overthinking, stop and ask yourself, what is triggering this? Overthinking tends to follow predictable patterns, and once you recognize those patterns, you can start to break free. Situations that involve uncertainty, not knowing how something's going to turn out and just kind of having to ride the wave of faith. Different social interactions. If you're someone that replays conversations in your head, this might be one of your triggers. Another one can be past failures or disappointments. Sometimes we overthink in these situations in order to try and avoid these similar pains in the future. And perfectionism and self-doubt. Feeling like you have to get everything just right can have a huge burden on your life. Not being able to let yourself make mistakes can cause you to overthink every situation to make sure that you make the right choice every time. Start paying attention to when and where you're overthinking the most. Do certain people, places, or situations trigger that response in you? Are there specific thoughts that keep coming up? Are you able to start shifting your response? Overthinking does not just happen in the moment. It is often rooted in past experiences and deeply rooted within belief systems. If you grew up in a household where your mistakes were criticized, you might have developed a habit of overanalyzing everything so that you don't make any mistakes or to avoid doing something wrong. If you have experienced rejection in the past, whether that be in friendships, relationships, or work, you might constantly analyze those situations to prevent that from happening again. Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I have to be perfect, are what drive overthinking. That is what's putting gas in the tank. These feelings often come from past experiences where we have felt unworthy or not in control. Sometimes overthinking is our brain's way of protecting ourselves from going through something traumatic again. It can feel like self-defense, even though it's actually leading to more stress and anxiety. But the good news is, once you're able to start recognizing these patterns in your life, you can take the actionable steps to calm your mind and slow down overthinking. And that's how we start to rewire our mind. Instead of letting overthinking take over, here are some more ways that you might be able to get yourself out of it once you notice you're starting to go down that path. Remind yourself that overthinking does not equal control. No matter how much we analyze a situation, we cannot predict or control everything, and that is okay. Let go of the need for a perfect decision. Life is about learning and adjusting. Even if things do not go exactly as we planned, we can adapt. Trust your past experiences. Think about a time when you did make a decision without overthinking and it worked out all right. Replace the thought of what if with even if, because even if that does happen, you can still push through and reach whatever goals you're trying to achieve, and everything will be okay. By understanding the root causes of overthinking, we can begin to release those habits and begin to build trust within ourselves. Now I want to go into some science-backed techniques on how to quiet the chatter within our mind. Mindfulness meditation is one of the most powerful tools to break free from overthinking. It is a simple but highly effective practice that helps retrain your brain to focus on the present moment rather than getting lost in an endless cycle of what ifs. How mindfulness meditation can help. There are a few ways. It trains your brain to let go of the thoughts that don't serve you. It helps reduce your stress and anxiety by calming your nervous system. It strengthens your ability to focus, making it easier to stay present and stop overanalyzing. It can improve your emotional regulation, helping you respond to situations with more clarity instead of just reacting on impulses and your thoughts. Here is a simple mindfulness exercise you can try right now. Find a quiet space and sit down in a comfortable position. You can sit or lie down on the floor, whatever makes you feel good. Second, you're going to want to focus on your breath. Close your eyes and take in a slow, deep breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Observe your thoughts without judgment. If thoughts pop up in your head, don't try to fight them. Let the thought come into your mind. Acknowledge that it's there and then let it move on, like a cloud passing in the sky. After, you're going to want to come back to the present moment. Just focus on your breath every time you notice your mind beginning to drift into different thoughts. Just 2 to 5 minutes of mindfulness meditation a day can make a significant difference in your mental health and overall well-being over time. And if sitting still is not for you, you can mindfully walk, stretch, or even mindfully eat. I talk about that with a registered dietitian, and I'll pop that episode right here. If you want to learn more about digestion and the gut, I would check out that episode after this one, of course. And I just wanted to take a second to also thank you if you're still here with me watching this video. I really appreciate you guys. When overthinking starts to kick in, it pulls us out of the present moment and just throws us into a whirlwind of past embarrassments and future anxiety. Learning different grounding techniques can help break that cycle by bringing our minds back into the present moment, right here, right now, with our bodies. Here are some different grounding techniques that you might want to try in your daily life. The first method you could try is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Name 5 things you see around you out loud, 4 things that you can touch, the feeling of your clothes on your skin, or even taking your shoes off and feeling the ground beneath your feet. 3 things to hear. Listen to background noises, music, or even your own breath. 2 things you can smell. Breathe in a nice candle that you have around the house, or an essential oil, or even the fresh air outside. And 1 thing you can taste. Take a sip of water and notice how it feels, or a drink of tea. This method helps shift your focus from your thoughts into your senses and your feeling in the present moment. This helps grounding you within reality. Another method you could try would be box breathing. This is breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. I personally love box breathing whenever I'm feeling anxious or starting to overthink. It's one way that does help me personally feel grounded. This technique helps regulate your nervous system, reducing stress and calming an overactive mind. And then there's progressive muscle relaxation. Start by tensing one group of muscles, like your hand, for instance. Clench it for a few seconds and then release it. And you want to move through each part of your body, your arms, your jaw, your legs, gradually releasing tension. PMR, progressive muscle relaxation, helps to break the physical tension that often comes with overthinking. The cold water method. Splash cold water on your face, get in the shower and turn it all the way to cold. That is something I actually do in the mornings. This activity activates the dive reflex, which signals your nervous system to calm down. These techniques interrupt overthinking in real time and bring your mind back to the present moment. The key here is awareness. The moment you catch yourself overthinking, try one of these techniques and see if it helps. Overthinking is often fueled by negative thought patterns. These thought patterns often spiral into self-doubt and, in the worst cases, irrational fears. The next step is to challenge these thoughts so that they can begin to lose their power over you. You can do it. I know you can. If you couldn't, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. Here is how to break down the cycle of negative thinking. First, we have to question the thought. Is this thought negative? Is this thought 100% true? Do I have evidence of this, or am I just assuming the worst? Would I say this to a friend in my position? Most of the time, overthinking is based on assumptions, not facts. Try reframing your thoughts. Instead of thinking, what if I fail? Think, even if I fail this time, I'm gonna try again. Because failing means I have something to learn here, and then I can try again and grow. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I am learning, and I am growing and improving. Reframing your thoughts shifts the focus from self-blame to self-compassion. And lastly, replace your thoughts with action. Instead of sitting there and thinking about it, get up and do one small thing to feel better, combat it, or work towards it, depending on what it is. And if there's not action to take, you have to let it go in that moment. When we start to embrace presence in our daily lives, we begin to start seeing things differently. We feel more at ease, more connected, more approachable, and more appreciative of the moments that go unnoticed. Let's talk about how we can bring mindfulness into our everyday lives. When we're constantly caught up within our thoughts, we miss out on the beauty that is happening right now. And the truth is, the present moment is the only place that life actually happens. Think about how much time we spend dwelling on the past, rehashing old mistakes, old conversation, and holding on to regrets, worrying about the future, imagining worst case scenarios, second guessing ourselves, our choices, and the fear of the unknown. But the past is done, and the future is not yet. The only moment that we have control over is this one. You start to enjoy life more. Little moments become a little richer, and you can find the beauty in the simple things. You feel less anxious. Instead of worrying about things that might happen, you stay grounded in what is happening right now. And you stop waiting to be happy someday. You realize that happiness is available for you right now, in all the little moments that you often overlook. One of my favorite reminders is this: life is not a destination. It is happening right now. If we're always rushing to the next thing, we will miss the joy of the journey. A fulfilled and happy life is not something that will happen someday. It is something that we create right now by choosing the present. You have the opportunity to change your life every single day. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and let me know ways that you're going to try to stop overthinking down in the comments below. And also let me know what you want me to talk about on this channel. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I love hearing from you guys, and I post on there multiple times a week, so it's a great way to keep in touch with me. If this episode resonated with you, you're going to want to check out this conversation right here, where I talk to a neuroscientist, and you won't want to miss it. Bye guys, I'll see you next time.